Greetings and salutations, my operators, and welcome back to Honkai Star Rail, where we're still continuing reading all of what was written. Last time, mainly because I'm still coughing like a madman. Ugh. Last time we finished Aglaya, Saridra, and Hysolins. I think we're gonna go with Cypher into Castrus, into Mighty, into Anaxa. If we're lucky, we'll probably just finish Cypher, Castrus, and Mighty. But yeah, let's get started. These are interesting scenes of character. I'm really interested to see how much it adds to Cypher's character. Because we know apparently Finon burned her village, or the city of Dolos. Don't know what motivates that, but yeah, I got a scraper on my thing. I melted my mouse pad in my hand. And then she was basically adopted by Aglaya and trying to trade in her jewels for clothes. And then she infiltrated the priest. So let's go see Chapter 12, Fleet-Footed Traveler, Cyphera. Part 1, Lion Cat's Travelogue.
A thief tells a few stories.
The first story is titled The Golden Apple. It doesn't have to go to the fairest.
That city is named Paphos, where the golden light of Nestia shines. The golden apple tree sits in the city's middle. Only the fairest can pluck its apples. The beauty pageant begins on time, as the fair ones stretch their supple arms, trying to pluck the fruits above their heads. Yet every time the apples come within reach, a breeze blows the fruit away without a trace. The audience in displeasure disbands, with only one girl left standing there, her features bland. Yet to her surprise, she finds her arms full of golden fruits, a harvest grand.
The second story is titled Trying to Argue? Don't trick yourself, please.
That city is named Idylia, where Circe's roots bury deep and wide. The sophist scholar holds a tortoise aloft, but his theories, common sense bereft.
Even the best athlete could never catch up to this turtle.
None can overturn him in arguments, and he obtains the champion's crown in merriment. Yet, as he is about to leave, a wind blows the tortoise in front of him. And behold, his paradox becomes truth. To catch up to the turtle, an entire day and night he spent.
The third story I will tell is titled A Competition in Trickery. Who do you think is the Grandmaster?
That city is named Dolos, where even Zagreus was once tricked. The king promises to reward the perfect lie, wishing to recreate the deceit of the Titan, his grand feat.
I think the world is a gourd. In truth, we are all already dead.
The liars take their turns in the challenge, but no one pleases the king. With a gust of wind, the girl emerges before the king's face. And when she leaves, she already has the king's promised gold in a pouch. The others are curious as to what lies she raised.
Zagreus can only tell lies. And I am Zagreus. The fourth story is called You Like Money. Good. But you must pay the price.
That city is called Mythamus, where the sea breeze intoxicates the people with delight. A wealthy penny pincher prays to the Titan.
Please give me the power to turn anything into gold.
With a breeze, the rock in his hand turns to gold. But his joy is fleeting to behold, for with one embrace, his wife turns into coins, scattered on the soil. He howls at Fagusa to retract the blessing, but sees a girl in a hood in passing. The girl laughs hilariously, holding his hand in hers.
Go back and check your vault. Some gold may be missing. But your beloved is right there, waiting. Cyphera, you took another long journey.
And we want to hear your fun stories!
The girl with the hood dangles her feet in the bath as two coins dance and fly between her fingers.
Basically, I visited 4 places, tricked them to my heart's content, and came back fully rewarded.
The girl pauses her words and looks out the window as the light above the Titan's shoulder casts her right cheek aglow.
The dawn will never cease, and the thief star wanders in foreign lands. How would you know that I am not lying right now?
In Dolos' suburbs, in a tiny weaving workshop, the silk-weaving old woman busies herself within as her smart child wanders outside on a whim. The silk pours from the loom, some bright as the dawn, some dark as the night. The woman had lived her whole life in poverty, yet through her business, she never deceives.
Good child, listen to me. Never lie and speak deceit, for people like you only do to honesty.
The girl smiles and nods, but her heart is drawn to the boundless desires of the bustling streets. And the grandmother is unaware that her handmade white dress has been stained by the mud of conceit.
Madam, what is a bundle of white silk's price?
Sir, only 2,000 balance coins.
An honest price tag can only meager profit obtain.
If we keep selling cloth like this, we'll stay poor for the rest of our lives.
The girl complains to her grandmother while sprouting countless plots and petty tricks. The woman smiles and does not reply, only weaving with night-shaded silk a suave, hooded robe for her little spark.
Why don't you take some of our goods and go into the city tomorrow to try out those pranks?
The mesmerizing moneyed charm of Dolos City turns minds and tongues into a whirlwind of confusion. Even the girl who prided herself on sharp ears and a clever tongue could not contend with the myriad of shifting faces before her. She returns penniless and furiously seethes.
I vow to the god of thieves that I will eventually empty those people's pockets.
Smiling, her grandmother stops her silk work and offers some dinner with humble dish.
Silly child, don't let Titans hear such vows and promises.
Yet, when the moon rises, a magnificent pin graces the old lady's pale locks. The girl smiles at the old woman, now stunned in shock.
I actually did return with some catch.
The brilliance adorning her white hair drew all eyes, and its proud original owner arrived to stake their claim. The bet that the girl won with a brilliant trick is described as a thief's loot through lying schemes. The old woman, in her panic, shouldered the blame, confirming a sin that was but a fabrication.
By Dolores' laws, we must also execute all her family!
To protect the girl, the old woman reveals the final secret unseen.
She's not my family, but just an orphan picked from the street on a whim.
People thought this to be a lie, but the girl knows her grandmother cannot deceive, just like how she always glossed over questions about parents and kin.
Your parents went to a city-state far away.
The girl never bothered to unravel the threadbare lie.
Stop! Stop right there, you thief!
Run! Run as fast as you can! Cyphera!
The lies overthrow the shop and tear apart the good woman's good name, leaving the girl with guilt and grief. The hearth of her home was a lie, doused by another conceit. But if her sleight of hand had better skill, would it have made that fire burn forever? The girl pulls down the hood and sinks into the starless dark.
I vow to the god of thieves.
And from that day, she never left empty-handed, her words woven with deceit. However, back then the girl did not realize that the people did not covet one simple pin, but the golden blood flowing beneath her skin.
And
If every single scar equals a coin, then the girl, always pursued, would be worth her weight in gold. Deception, theft, and night heists. But her nerves failed her when it mattered most. The girl clutches meager loot to her chest and escapes, muttering curses, bearing her pain.
We're head on. I definitely win next time.
She always longs for the coin of whimsy's blessing and creed. Yet the coin in the air always suddenly disappears, as if in reply from the trickery titan. Day and night flow, and the thief's star makes circles across the sky, while time molds the girl into an adult. The cloak once used to conceal her entire body now only suffices as a hood that barely covers her fringe.
No matter. These days, I have no need to hide.
With a confident stride and a silver tongue, her perfected fraud thieving every opportunity as a result. And at curtain fall hour, those treasure-seeking steps fade into the moonlight. When she appears again, her arms are laden with money's weight. What is the art of thieving?
Stealing from the poor. Not enough loot. Stealing from the rich. That's a boring task to boot.
The girl narrows her eyes of greed towards those called the Chrysos heirs. The golden vines of the sages' homes, the sacred carcass of the Deathward realm, the divine lyre of the seashore's pearl, and the crystal chalice of the 1,000 gates. The girl knows not the treasure's origins, only that they are all valuable beyond measure.
To have something priceless is the true art of thieving.
A pity the deceits are all eventually revealed, and the thief meets a rare defeat. A golden thread discerns her meticulous disguise, and the heroes hold down her third hand to imprison in this thief star made of human feet.
I take defeat with my head held high. Spare me your sympathy.
She frankly faces the accusations, knowing that escaping would be nothing more than child's play. So the Chrysos heir outside the cage smiles sweet.
Would you like to see my most precious?
A treasure bright?
It is a dress, like the beauty god Nestia's divine body. More blinding than the sun, rivaling the moon in its glory.
It is woven by divine threads. It captivates even the gods. But all the lies and deceit are revealed under the golden thread's query.
The world-famous thief is stirred by such grand words into a flurry.
Then just you watch. This wondrous dress will forever remain in my own gallery.
This is an age of ruin. The Chrysos War ignites once more, while Zagreus's taunts ripple through the city streets. This is also an age of splendor. 300 thieves spring forth from Dolos, each scheming to conceal the truth from prying eyes, robbing the rich to give succor to the poor.
Every one of them deceives gods and men alike, righteous and valiant.
The flame chase journey has been cut short midway, yet the girl pounds her chest at the gold weaver, not afraid.
The core flame of trickery is near. If now isn't the time to risk it all, then when?
The prophecy reveals the Titan's trail. Golden threads binds the fleeing god of thieves. The young girl flashed a grin and walked towards the god who was pretending to smile.
I once vowed to the god of thieves that I would force trickery to reap what they have sown.
The Titan whispered from the vortex, the god of trickery's earnest plea. They made a promise to the girl who entered the trial, that the whole world would be bathed in light, no more lies and deceit. The young girl recalled the hearth fire of her childhood.
Cyphera, only honesty is well liked.
She pursed her lips.
That does sound like quite the ideal society. Of course I didn't accept. How boring would a world without deception be?
The young girl demonstrated her newly acquired divine power, molding lies into reality.
The defeated Titan is now not but a wandering soul.
But somewhere far away, a purple spirit thief opened bleary eyes. They had forgotten their previous life as a Titan, and remembered only the girl's crafty message.
Go! Collect treasure, you greedy little grape. Once you regain the memories of trickery from chests, then I will claim the reward for saving your life.
In the days spent away from Akama, the girl grew accustomed to traveling alone. In a certain city, she heard of a spirit thief, rumors aplenty.
I, Bartolo's master thief, shall take all you've labored to gain.
So saying, the spirit thief steals the girl's coin pouch and fled without a trace. But a gust of wind brushed past, and the girl had already caught them.
Running for it? Your life was saved by my trickery, you know.
The old god and the new finally reunite, the two rivals who, from that moment on, became thieves and companions both. It's just that the spirit thief's companion was always scaring them.
Hey, the fish in the River of Souls are starving, you know.
Oh, the causing the worst. It keeps coming in waves. So annoying.
A thief reveals a few lies.
The first lie is called... Fellow thieves, come on and deceive gods with me.
The world has already forgotten that feast. Lies unnumbered that drowned the Day of Souls. Schemes uncounted, burning for a night of revelry. 300 thieves shackled in imprisonment in exchange for a Titan's resigned confinement.
To have managed to trick the Grand Master of all tricks.
I can die happy now.
This was Dolos's great achievement, the deception of the gods, where even Zagreus was fooled.
The second lie is called... The god of trickery is now not but a wandering soul.
Why did she spare the Titan's life? The young girl knew not, even after asking herself. Was it greed for the treasure they promised, or had she vaguely perceived their lonely fate?
It's because you're every bit as despicable as I am. It's such a relief not having to deal with the noble.
The girl dismissed and made light of herself, only forgetting trickery was once a god that supported the world.
The third lie is called... Oh, eternal day! Endlessly illuminate the holy city.
At Dawn Cloud, the chaplain's secrets foretold the coming of that endless night.
What if my lies are more... sophisticated? Can the dawn last forever? No end in sight?
Bearing the fate of the thief star, the girl was long used to walking in shadow. But as she gazed towards the holy city's dawn, her duty became fixed in her heart, stalwart in might.
The fourth lie is called...
There's no reason! I just don't want to see you again!
The girl tried to mask her nonchalance, but could never fool the golden thread's questions. But it is the false-hearted malice that most powerfully forces belief. A true flame-chase hero willingly faded from attention, while the wayfaring traveler grasps tight onto fleeting light. She used divine power to forge a mask and conceal the last of her true heart.
The fifth lie is called... No. There are... no more... lies... left.
The whimsical coin fell to the ground, telling the tale of fate fulfilled. Travels unwitnessed, ruses unknown, to whom may these now be told?
Lies are always but lies. But you can make them more beautiful than the truth.
Under the somber sky, golden blood soaked the thief's cloak. Like a golden thread tailored just for her, an exquisite robe that she never stole.
Yeah, that's great. What the whole history of Cypher, huh? Casterus or Mighty? Yeah, let's go with Casterus. Oh, I didn't realize I read the first chapter. Servant of Death, Casterus. Chapter 1. Trolling in Fallen Bloom.
I see a sword that grants death, a shackle of destiny. Next, the silver-haired girl, worshipped at the demise's hallow. The sword stained with unknown blood, lying shattered and snapped. The shackle chained pale wrists, dotted in thickening rust. The priest asks with a shaking voice, upon whose fingertips will the butterfly perch? The girl never answers. Like death itself, wreathed in silent solemnity. People often say that dying is to meet the palm of the hand of shadow, and dreaming is to be brushed by its fingertips. In the mirages, when the girl petted death, she sees black waterfalls foaming and bellowing, pouring down from a chasm in the sky, where a solitary tower withstands the mighty torrents. When she wakes, she can still feel the water's freezing touch, and the cacophonies billow, like the wail of the dead, the howl of beasts in confusion, delirium, and clamors hollow. The girl's embrace is not meant for the living. Thousands have entered the eternal sleep in her arms, granting to the dead solace and dignity. She mentions a ferocious warrior, feared in battle.
She did not go with a smile, but to me she cursed. Oh, life's end, how ugly you are, how despicable.
And from that day on, she adorned herself. Her dress, white as a radiant moon, became always dotted with flowery petals.
For if death cannot be avoided,
so says the girl,
I wish it could contain beauty more plentiful.
Oh, well, that's short.
Among the thousand ceremonies in life and death, the ones she knows with most intimacy are funerals. One burial after another she presided over, from the angelic visage of a babe passed in the cradle to the despairing eyes of the mother drowning in sorrow. From the scars on a war-battered general's torso to the unending tears pouring from his bereft widow. Yet she remembers not a single living human she had seen. Even in the mirror, she thinks her own face strange with an alien glow. In the countless words buried in forgetfulness, the only thing she manages to glean is a mockery to fate, a sarcastic whistle.
Stay alive.
When she cast aside the shackles and stepped beyond Idonia, a deja vu most violent seizes her whole. Did she, perchance, conduct some previous escape? Illusions dance across her eyes. She had once drifted in an endless river, then drove her single boat out of the deluge. She had wandered in the battlefield covered in corpses, then recovered the path back to life. Why must she escape over and over again? She now knows the answer and quivers, for it is a ludicrous surmise. The woman embodying death walks this world only because she knows she must stay alive. But alas, at that time she knows not that death is not the end. It is only a butterfly landing on a withered branch, utterly meaningless, profoundly trite. Born with an evil curse, her hand dips into lethal cinnabar and white lead to personally decorate the faces of the dead. Her skills are said to bestow beauty on anyone, even transforming their appearance completely. Many skills were born out of her seclusion, but it painted her dwelling in a gloomy vision. Only a select few have set foot in this mansion, and the thief and the weaver were two such lucky persons. The girl converses with all items in the house, with specimens, tea sets, and even pillows in profusion, as if she can hear the responses of these non-living things.
I have always lived in isolation. Out of courtesy, this is how I practice my words and actions.
'Tis hard to believe her explanation. Her face when talking shows such a gentle disposition that unless she is telling fabrications, she must regard her partners as mere children. Thus, people passed these rumors down. Within the area of her encirclement, all things became frozen, escaping time's increments. It is an exaggeration, that is certain. People only found an ancient lion's head in battle's ruined armaments.
Those words are true.
The head itself was nearly dead.
Though they won in fierce battle, the warriors were powerless to turn the tide. It was the embrace where death dwelled that gave early release from their pain.
This is how death escapes time. she keeps every final embrace hidden in her immortal heart. Out of her numerous works, butterflies and flowers often stand out stark. Ignite them, and you can almost hear the maker's remark. Even in death's silence, her sound can still be heard. It is a gift greatly treasured by the maiden. Few have the honor to be graced with such work. Only one has the heart to burn such a gift, and the reason she gives is rather far-fetched.
I must peer into all fates unknown.
The power of time is boundless, but there is one thing that it cannot conquer.
Death is abominable in humans' eyes. Apart from my identity, there's nothing about me worthy of praise.
The beloved Goldweaver hears this in distress, then tries to teach her the art of weaving and threads. It has been said that the maiden has works that the holy city possesses. But this is the judgment the Goldweaver expresses.
Ah, well, none can know all things, nor be skilled in all crafts. Her works are too early for the living to comprehend.
To the dead, when she bids farewell, she casts the slate into the fire, an act futile. I have never heard of lands with such customs. At this time, something drizzles down the slate, full of colors, seemingly tears for the Reaper of Chills. It turns out the slate is inscribed with poems, and every phrase is diligently colored with skill.
Before people pass away, I write down these poems.
That is the limit of the girl's answer, and she only responds with silence for requests to read these poems. As time goes by, she finally opens her petal-veiled heart, and the reason behind her reluctance to show her work is finally clear.
My poems are still too green. Not worthy to be art.
It stems from the girl's shame and discomfort. It seems the girl once also loved to imagine with effort, and many wild tales were written on her part. A misunderstanding was what made her cease this art. It was a pair of arch-enemies who gained fame in the war. One of them burst into laughter after reading the girl's poetic words.
He and I clearly wish to kill and tear each other apart. But in your eyes, you think we are close, unable to part.
She did not write poetry as a pastime. It is said that she left great works under hundreds of names. In different times, she even criticized her previous beliefs, making her identity even harder to assume. I still found her weakness after many twists and turns. No matter how fickle her thoughts, she never lost faith in those words regarding the value of fragile mortal lives. She is heartbreaking and enchanting. She is the fingertips of death and the ghost of love and poetry. However, those poems have brought her many complaints. The poems that her hands composed all lack an ending of any kind. And the Maid of Death has no desire to continue them.
This is truly difficult to write.
The girl excuses herself.
My duty is to lead the living to the end. I cannot think of a fitting end for a poem to the dead.
Such is the epitome of lies. One who's grown used to death remains inexperienced with farewells. Therefore, I extend her an invitation. In this story belonging to herself, she can leave an ending reserved only for her.
What she brings is not only death.
She thus replied when we first met. And when we meet once again for the last time, she again deliberates over this closing statement.
Apart from death, there is something else that is worth remembering.
That is the journey she walked. The two girls frolicked in the wheat fields, fleet as doe deer, making ripples in the shallow puddles and pools clear. As dusk approaches, the exhausted girls collapse over the wheat heaps, talking about their longings and dreams of literature, love, and a journey through a world dear.
Oh, Sky, slow your closing gaze. How I want to keep this moment in my hands forevermore.
On that day, the breeze was warm and gentle. At that time, death was soft and fair. The broken-winged butterfly falls by the window, bringing with it a scent of melancholy. The girl looks outside. The golden wheat fields rolled endlessly, stretching to the horizon. Holding to the chair, she tries to stand, only to find her legs trembling and feeble.
Don't worry, Pelixia.
Her older sister whispers beside her ear, and on her sister's shoulder, the girl weeps mournfully. And time thus becomes silent, painted with sighs only. When hearing the healer's diagnosis, the girl remained deathly still. Her eyes were already drained of tears, and her heart a wilted grave.
Every time she has something on her mind, she would tilt her head and look outside.
Her sister follows her gaze, seeing a barren field turned by wind into a desolate gray expanse. Till one day, when the girl looks outside, she sees a dash of dark blue, most brave.
It's a flower my sister planted.
Like the torrential river of life, it pours into the depths of her heart. The flower is called Antilla. Even in the Netherland, it's rumored to thrive.
You are the quiet in my heart, amidst the chaotic choreography.
That seems to be its floriography. When the days are warm, the sister would take the girl on long journeys through the flower fields, gazing upon rivers, napping amongst the grove, a discussion hardy.
After I die, I want to become an Antilla flower and become the quietness in your soul.
A thoughtless word from the girl gains her a wrapping on her forehead most dainty.
Do not speak of dusk when you have yet to see the dawn.
Dew drops from the petals as wind pulls on the leaves, and the two of them sit in quietude. The girl asks for the means to tend to the garden, and while her sister sounds concerned, her heart is relieved. But the concern is well-founded. The girl tripped and fell into a mire. She gazed directly into the eyes of death in that dark pool, bottom unperceived.
I've been the weight upon my sister's wings. Let this be where it all comes to rest.
The girl gives up her struggles, only to see a figure pierce through the water's surface.
I won't allow you to walk through the dusk alone, or enter the night of no reprieve.
Her sister sobs without end, and the girl has to gently hug her and softly relieve. And then, this distant memory turns bleary, difficult to retrieve. The river of souls flows to the other side, wrapped in the land's night. Broad, slow, an eternal and silent sight. It belongs to all in this world that has life, all of which flows downstream, converging as one. The master of the nether realm, Thanatos, enshrouds himself and the souls within the moon cocoon. The dragon, born from the cocoon, carries a girl, soaring upstream the river of souls, defying its eternal flow. Their connection flows tighter than blood, and the key that opens the netherworld's gates is the sisters' selfish plight. Back then, the boreal winds cut through to the bone. Back then, death was a bitter and stabbing fright. In the Netherrealm, without an earth or sky, a flower named Antilla blooms, its beauty witnessed by but one soul.
You are the quiet in my heart, amidst the chaotic choreography.
The younger sister scores through the blooming Antilla fields, never finding that promised dark blue sprig. She silently made up her mind.
Death, leave all your dark nights to me, and save the dawns for her.
The younger sister gazes at the moon cocoon high above and plans a trip to the mortal realm, a distant flurry. A bard once sung to musical notes.
Do not turn back. Oh, do not turn back. The long hand of shadow will retain the dead behind their gates.
The giant dragon born from the moon cocoon willingly offered itself as the enduring barge of the River of Souls.
No need to turn back. Oh, no need to turn back. That price had long been paid for you by someone else.
The dragon lowers its long neck and places the girl on its back. In slumber, she will unknowingly greet the dawn of her rebirth. The dragon flaps its wings in the chilly gloom of the floating dead upstream, ferrying from purity into grime, going from silence to roaring boom. The souls of countless poets flounder past, their distant rhymes endless like foams.
Do not turn back, for to look toward the land of mortals is in itself turning back.
In this pale dawn, the sun's first rays light the night ablaze. So the dragon crosses the sea of souls onto the shores of life and strands itself in the gleam. We know not where these stories arise. They are scattered across the shallows with the waves. The confession the girl made before her departure still echoes in the tide's heaves.
If there is anything for me to leave behind, may it find a soul to remember. This is the ode of my life, and I've already penned my last stroke.
Yep. Mighty.
Among the soldiers, there was the famed city-state Kremnos, a place every warrior longed for. To be crowned champion of the Kremnos festival was an honor that only the cream of the crop could attain.
There's no glory to be found in an accolade, only obtainable through slaughter.
A man blocks my way. His name is Maidalos, Crown Prince of Kremnos. Despite being a man of few words, news of his deeds had traveled far and wide. His tale is an extraordinary one, they say. Cast off a cliff by his father at birth, he plunged into the sea of souls and drifted for 9 years.
Huh. He managed to survive all of that?
Even the god of death turned him away.
An immortal body, a gift bestowed upon the man. As with every other Chrysosaur in Amphorius, a blessing, yet also his curse. The taciturn man is seated at the table, expecting me to break the silence. Before us is a cup, filled to the brim with a crimson liquid. People considered it a Kremnoan tradition to sustain their bodies with fresh blood. In popular legends, every body on the battlefield was taken.
Arrogant amateur historian.
He sees straight through my pretense, his gaze as keen and piercing as a lion's.
This is pomegranate juice.
The man scoffs. The reason it's called a wild tale is because Castrum Kremnos has long vanished. When their god descended into madness, the city likewise became shrouded in fog. Rumor has it that during the final battle of Castrum Kremnos, this man too took to the battlefield. Cutting down countless foes, fighting in a sea of blood, he drove his spear through the heart of the enemy king. Yet the tip of that spear was directed at his own homeland. A chatter breaks out among the people, and the man rises to leave. The truth of such rumors He speaks only through his distant silhouette. A silhouette of a body that has withstood endless trials and faced death innumerable times, but bore not a single mark. Midemos, a hero of yore, now a traitor to Kremnos, the patricidal crown prince. Since which day did he become known as mighty? His strength rivals all lands, but the man pays it no heed. For only the authority of a king can end another king, and only strife can end strife. The torrent of conquest crosses the barrens, yet with homeland's blood, it is destined to be stained. None dare to shake his hand in greeting, for his hands burn as the blazing sun soaked in the might of the flames. What a mighty feat it is. In the aftermath of defeat, the man digs graves for the deceased soldiers, burying thousands with his own hands. In that fight, he crushed all invading blades with his fists. A body immortal may never fall, but tears of pain in his heart still flow.
His years of drifting made him detest water's waves.
They say that is the reason he's so unwilling to weep. But in Idonia's blizzards he once did cry, a tear shed among the storm and frost that bloomed into a lily stained with blood. Like his undying body, the flower never wilts. In time, the entire world will turn to ash. This haughty man shall be the one to leave behind the world's final beauty, though none are willing to believe. Unlike his kin, those patterns are carved with his blood. A matter so suspicious, it stirs the ambitions of the mundane.
A blade that can cut through the mighty must be enough to slay gods.
The people to this day still seek it, yet it is simply a tradition he follows closely. Do not let your enemy notice that you're bleeding, and thus convince them that you are someone unsurpassed, a warrior supreme. The stories of the past forged his body.
Apart from Kremnos' traditions, what do you have left?
The white-haired friend once asked. The man goes silent and still, his gaze burning into the horizon, looking for a distant past. In his days of wandering, this same question was asked by thousands upon thousands, and he never denied.
That is why I walk on this path.
None may approach that battlefield. The lone army of Kremnos, an obstacle on the flame-chase journey. He ordered his troops to stand aside. That was the first meeting between hero and prince. The two men fought for 10 nights unceasingly, till the combat drew to its end. Neither scored a single victory, nor conceded a single defeat. None know why this man's fate is always overshadowed by a lone number decreed. Just like how none can ascertain how the flame-chasing heroes convinced this man. It was not mutual appreciation. Nay, for in his memories, 7 sentences were all his mother to him ever spake. Yet somehow, that leader who weaves the golden threads recounted one of the 7 with ease. There is no right or wrong in the man's heart.
The lion has its own historian. And the history of the hunt should not be held by the hunter alone.
And thus, he speaks little. Others once guessed he regards the holy city as his home, for he seeks a land to belong. As the king to his people, it is the first gift to them he brings. But as per the rule with gifts, once given away, the gifter will never repossess this thing. The journey is long, yet none ever dare to anger the man. Not because of his unrestrained manners, but because every meal the heroes partook in were all cooked with his peerless skill. One sight serves falsehoods in the woods. He has relied on scent since young to distinguish guests and obtain gains. Yet there are always exceptions. The man's archenemy often puzzled why their food was always borderline nauseating. He still recalls the day he entered the holy city. One who worships strife is bound to have rumors rife.
Even insects consume each other, and he's no less than the Mad King's kin.
It matters little, for the man always considered himself an enemy to the world. He paves the road so that one day his peers would match his anger within. Yet, until the prophecy turned true, none in the holy city he ever did ruin.
To die for glory is not eternal sleep.
This is a lie all Castrum Kremnos keeps.
The world after death is superior to reality and basks in light.
But such vague poems the Crown Prince would not easily believe.
Cowards who dare not to look death in the eye.
He declared thus on the day he returned from the stream of souls.
Longing for a martyr's heaven and reciting self-deceiving stories.
His words are sacrilege incarnate, more arrogant than his blood and family.
True warriors should treat that paradise with spite.
Many followers thus stop, no longer following his steps, for they feel this young man's words, compared to poems, are even more absurd. A body immortal equals not perfection. The man braved dangers endless, simply to seek his weakness. In his greener days with more amateur skills, in crises where death denied him even after kills, he learned why curse is a synonym for blessing, for he saw that visage of terror at life's closing. The man seems unmoved when this past is mentioned. Having braved death 9 times, he who was once lacking now excels above everyone else, still rising. Yet, when asked if he's still as ticklish as when he was a child, he does not answer. It's a wild tale he won't care to opine. It's said that Castrum Kremnos has secrets divine, through which the king's power has passed a one-man army by strength in their bloodline.
Therefore, a traitor who does not inherit the throne is a king most infirm.
As the protagonist hears these words, he refutes not, but openly responds.
These are not rumors unfounded. But will they matter if my deeds eclipse those of all other kings, achieving glory beyond?
Never turning back in war, he seizes all our glory.
That rumor in the war camp of fury often casts a shadow on a man's heart, indestructible and fiery. When campaigns become mired in terror, he sends his army to places safe and secure. Yet alone he goes to fight, knowing death can touch him ne'er. The Kremnoan detachment who follows him in livery all die in bed, devoid of glory. They have their share of grudges upon death, but the man has no regret, none necessary.
Your glory lies not in death, but in my hands.
The dust settles, and strife calms. A deathly quiet covers his father's realm, and the man alone returns home. A question seems to sound from shadows of the past around.
Did you already walk that flame-chasing road, O King?
Atop the throne, the man mutters alone.
There's nothing else worthy of the hunt, for I am the blazing fire at the journey's end.
As it has been foretold, he killed the king to become a king, and killed the god to become a god. His eternal destiny is to be crowned in blood. As always, to perceive the man's fury, one must do so 7,000 paces away. The Kremnos he guards is once again shrouded by mist. Rust, blood, and fire are the ceremonial ode to the demigod. There is no one to witness or to give cheers of glory. The final Kremnos festival goes on without end. The victor shall embrace death and silence, and his glory will only be remembered by the defeated array. For that man, laws and seals no longer have meaning. War and battle never cease for a single minute, each passing day indistinguishable, morning and night entwined. The corpses pile up, filling ravines, forming mountains strong. He carved time with peak's edge and counted the fleeting years by fires of war. Sometimes the lion would climb to the hilltop to look down on the world and search for friends in longing. The distant heavens and earth stretched vast and boundless, but their endlessness felt ever more remote. Like Nikador, he cannot escape Magnus's clutches. Guarding the city alone and embroiled in war, The murmurs of the black tide constantly sound in his ears. Yet a flame soars up his chest every moment, casting light upon the indomitable path behind him. Memories seal the echoes of the past as the man strides into battle, fists clenched fast. He is the wound this world must bear, the new king before whom old gods despair. As stated in Idonia's poems, humans are born with eyes closed to accustom to this world's light, and their sight fades in old age to reacquaint with night's anthems. But the man did not bow to the decay of time, rejecting the lure of death's call. With each return from the brink of death, his eyes burn with fury, fixed upon his foes, until everything suddenly faded away, like a surging black tide swallowing all into nothingness. The world dissipates in the roiling black tide's requiem. Even the lion will one day die, a departure with no way back. With a sudden fall, his pierced chest hits the ground, and slowly flowing into the underworld is his golden blood, departing his system. But that gaze, fierce as flame, never dimmed, not even in death, looking beyond those flame-seeking figures, reaching far toward the endless horizon. In the morrow sky, the stars will chant, "The lone king of Kremnos is called mighty. His journey was one of ceaseless, eternal warfare, and behind him, he left a world ablaze with glory."
I think we have the time for next too. The My Scholar and Naxagoras. I didn't read what the title was.
Before meeting death, the scholar already composed his own epitaph.
This person's name was seldom mentioned by others. Incomplete, just like his fate.
He would sweep his own grave at the beginning of every month of reaping, staring long and hard at his stained hands. Hands that never seek the benediction of gods, accepting only the tricks and plots his brain presents.
Keep your distance from that blasphemous one, lest misfortune follows you like a shadow.
People warned each other thus before his lectern. In those rumors, the scholar's hubris looms foul and vile. He dares to proclaim ascendancy over gods and defy the Titan's will. But the one shouldering such slander pays little heed. His lonesome figure stands aloof, for he always believed that gods are no greater than mortal beings such as he. Grove of Epiphany, the paradise of the wise, yet harbors one shouldering the name of a fool. He calls himself a clear-headed teacher leading lost students, yet he rarely guides or teaches, apart from gifting a single saying. Yet for the rest of the student's life, that saying often proves to be more valuable than gold. Pupils often praise his words as divine utterances, to which the teacher replies with sharp retort. Apart from destiny, he seems able to decipher all laws. And now, even destiny may also be within his grasp. It was not so in the beginning, as he silently recalls the past under leafy shade.
Faced with a god's edict, even I cannot resist.
With no guidance given, he reaches enlightenment for the first time.
Yet, I sincerely believe this is not to be my destiny.
That became the cause of the blasphemy.
Miracles are the most conceited actions of gods. They are God's denial of humanity via might. Magic tricks are the most articulate rebuttal. They are humanity's imitation of godhood via intellect.
He habitually describes the feats of mankind as magic tricks, proving that the enlightened can step beyond the boundaries of reason. But magic tricks cannot afford to fail, even after 1,000,000 times. And for that, the blasphemous co-conspires with a god. Using the final trick, they wish to create a miracle to end all miracles. This is a tale buried in history. One day, a student elated in victory dashed around the grove's territory.
I saw the spell the professor carved on his body.
The youth with white hair was beside himself in joy.
It must be a power most secret, a means for one man to stand against 1,000.
That spell was rare indeed, for it was a secret way to overturn a cart of hay. The scholar was still a mortal body, as yet to snatch life from death, or to reforge a new flesh through a god's remedy. Various minute tricks and parody, he studied them all, crafting schemes oh so busy. For everyone knows, he wishes not to use the divine power that is his, refusing rightful custody. And in that unwitnessed moment of his death, final tragedy, he still held the hay cart spell steady, standing alone, facing the evil enemy. Now, that craft is regarded as a magnificent study, not because of what it was, but because of its purpose, known to everybody. In fact, he once crafted miracles, forging silent servants using soil as vehicle. Though no sentience, they do their job without obstacles, rivaling Titankin in spectacle. However, one day he suddenly changes his tune.
Creation is the Titan's work, and slavery is the Titan's manacle. When imitating divine evil, there's no need to invest reason, most pinnacle.
When the servants have all been recycled, he deigns not to explain, fearing to waste his reason or muscle. So he jokingly concludes the questioning with a chuckle.
If it's just for odd jobs, students are a better gamble.
The way he addresses himself comes from elsewhere, an imitation of a divine machine with some flair. He happily answers 5 questions for those unaware, knowledge seemingly given with stingy care.
For a wise one, 5 answers reveal creation's secrets, the truth hidden and bold. But a fool learns but not, and is left in the cold. Now, inquire.
That is, in fact, the scholar's crafty snare. He hides the answer he seeks behind questions posed by those unaware, doling breadcrumbs as bait to lure and compare, whether the inquirer may be worthy of his wisdom to share. The scholar never looks at laws and measurements, ignoring the flow and shift of time's passage, and uncomprehending students gossip in eager regiments.
Why? Obviously to drag out class time as a statement.
The student's answer seems rather adamant.
He is panicked by the flow of time, for his work is yet done, yet to implement.
The stubborn assistant interjects in a rare display of testament.
This man is too arrogant, and he intends to desecrate Orynyx's accomplishments.
The passing sage from another school brings admonishment. Outside the courtyard, the gossip flows into the scholar's ear. He silently gives a grade to every question and argument, but none know the true answer, according to his judgment.
Do not make him your enemy, even though he may seem frail and weak.
When a valiant warrior from afar assaulted the grove, he shattered their strength with only his eyes and pointing stick. He sent them running, pride cut to the quick.
He may seem cold and unkind, but he sees through human emotions with just a peek.
A student was troubled by love's trials and aches. With one sentence, he guided them away from heartbreak, letting destiny's strands weave a path to love and happiness's shape.
All is science, and human wisdom knows no bounds. Both martial prowess and emotions are knowledge that can be found.
He firmly believes that all things can be deciphered, bared to those who peek. Those that cannot be solved are not mysteries infinite, but only questions waiting to be answered, not obstacles bleak. For those who only protect themselves, the world cannot see their intentions. In sorrowful parting hours, the scholar refuses trifling matters. Isolated in a corner of his library, he fiddles with instruments of crafters. Colleagues suspect him of creating new blasphemies, while students believe him to be making new miracles of mastery. The curious one's gaze through the window beholds, seeing a small wooden bird on the table, wobbling in comfort, swaying in the scholar's hand, an endearing cohort. I ask him, seeking his motive for this effort, but the scholar, usually so quick to retort, refuses to answer, seemingly coming up short. Creatures that through his hands pass all change their functions, invoking wonder peerless. He once removed his hat, as others witnessed, then walked on the hat over water with success. They also saw him light a flare, fearless, instead creating chilling cold air not so harmless. That bird was once a toy, and now his messenger. Or perhaps still a toy. That is the magic trick of his success, and one of his teachings that he will profess.
Nothing in this world is ever born fixed.
The far-seeing must be far in thought. His teachings are like prophetic delight, yet he opposes prophecies with all his might. It's a time he refrains from looking back on, traveling all lands, chasing prophecies, trying to prove the priest's words were not unchangeable foresight. Countless times, he exhausted his crafty sleights, wanting to rescue the doomed and resurrect wights, wanting to shame the prophesized heroes of magic and might, wanting to sway promised villains to a course more upright. Perhaps fate could not guess his goals, but it could trample over his plans overnight. At the end, all his challenges flicker out, but he persists still in endless plight. His ambitions are too lofty, and so failure follows him never too softly. Through moments of defeat felt increasingly common, the scholar learnt one thing he has never forgotten. Respond to defeat with a smile haughty. Not from optimism, nor from a defeat of the heart.
I thank this misfortune's severity.
The laughter oozes with self-mockery, but is also full of a different emotion.
If this road is easy to walk, then future generations will not praise my name in piety,
says his ambition. On the day that the grove fell, he accepted his defeat and demise, as if embracing truth and heresy.
Believe in Titans, and you'll have a happy death. Deny the Titans, and you'll have a fulfilling death.
Yet, as the lightened soul bids farewell to its heavy shell, a Titan made an untimely call.
Do not be startled, child of humanity. You have a final query in this world.
You finally came.
He does not seem shocked, and lets the core flame take over his shell.
Be more punctual next time, if you will.
Upon his first meeting with the Titan, the blasphemer is already on his best behavior. And towards the suggestion to reforge his body, he paid no mind.
I have so kindly offered you the best body. So why do you insist upon your mortal imperfection?
The scholar replies in candor.
Only by retaining the various flaws can my humanity be preserved in rigor.
His form remains in the mortal realm, while his spirit walks the river of souls' shores. Between life and death, he fatigues. Dwelling in the child of humankind's thoughts and senses, the Titan cannot bear to remain a mere spectator.
Why not ask me your questions, child of humanity? I am rich in wisdom, and shall speak with no ambiguity.
As though an unspoken pact, the scholar asked the god about all things, feigning a humble quest for knowledge.
Do you treat me just as a way to answer questions? A mere machine?
The Titan got what they asked for.
You should thank me. For good questions are rarer than good answers.
Compared to the joy of a new life, the scholarly breakthrough carried home alongside death filled the scholar's heart with more fervor. He returned to the Scourged Grove many times, and the black tide followed. Despite his defeats, he never sought help or permission. But at every desperate moment, the Titan would eventually take over one half of his body. The union of man and God. A flawed and clumsy choreography. It happened but once, a perfect harmony. One man, one God, speaking in one breath.
Stop stepping forward at the same time as me.
The Titan once revealed the secrets of mixing life. A boon, seemingly a blessing, but full of malice.
What a tempting bait. But that's not my desired chalice.
Divine power is within his reach, but the scholar is not moved by that essence. This long and abnormal temptation is also a trial of elevation, for the sage can achieve all things, but shortcuts alone he abhors with silence.
Teacher, in this tumultuous world, have you thought about your will?
It was just a joke, but the scholar, still at the grove, answered with extreme caution. He has much to say about his posthumous affairs, exhausting all, fearing the smallest omission.
Teacher, could it be that you fear death?
The assistant asks in concern. It was a question needed, yet he gave no direct reply.
Philosophy is the inquiry into death, and I have always considered myself a philosopher.
The assistant recounts all of the scholar's final wishes, each mighty as a mountain, asking what seemed impossible.
The tombstone must be made of my treasured rare stones, carved with Dromus patterns.
But that stone is a miracle of alchemy, tough beyond measure. No chisel could have shaken.
That's also his plan.
The assistant softly reveals the hidden plot.
He hopes that instead of shedding tears over his death, we will find it in us to smile, even in a moment of sorrow.
It's rumored that in the depths of the grove, the scholar left a teaching ingenium, imitating himself to the utmost detail.
Go back. The living have not exhausted their thoughts. Go back. The dead have no desire to teach their works.
The ingenium's words are cold and detached, like the deceased man himself.
But if you have no one to talk to, fine. You can sit and converse.
Now, the grove is no longer bustling, and the scholar has returned to dust. Thus, few in this world now know how he was also troubled by solitude in life. Someone once suggested,
perhaps your ambition should also find its place among your final wishes.
Pointless notion.
he dismissed in derision.
Unveiling the countenance of the gods is a task for the living.
Perhaps that is his haughty position. Such a melancholy topic, yet he insists on feigning a twist, avoiding it altogether. Perhaps these chapters should not be retained. Most are from the scholar's handwritten drafts, shown without his permission. Yet there seems to be a voice there in remonstration.
It's just the past. What harm is there in revelation?
Even in passing, his hubris still resounds in reverberation.
The smaller a thing is, the more it shows its weight. The more foolish my name is, the more glory my achievements will be in comparison.
I thought we would get more details of this, past when the Black Tide, attacked his home. But nope, this is just Naxa hyping himself up. Let that divine name dim, discard not the broken, expose the divine, lose not your humanity, and from this a miracle renders. Alright, we're almost done. That was fun. I like Cypher's the best. Mighty's was okay. Pretty much the same what was explained during 3.2, I think. A little more detail in Casper's was nice. Or Pollux. Little details, more details on Pollux was nice. But yeah, it's okay. Pretty interested in what Hyacinth's gonna be like. Because her whole thing is like she's based on a lie. Is this gonna be like all her nice deeds? I'm real interested in what Evernight and Dunhung are gonna be. Because I don't know how much like the original Terrorbox is gonna be part of Dunhung's. I don't even know what's gonna happen in Marches. And then we'll finish off with fun. Until then, thank you everyone who joined me today, and I'll see you all next time. I was coughing like a bitch. Bye bye.